Alright, so this is a review of Breach of Peace. This is a bit of a special case for me to review. For you see, this is novella. It's not only the first novella book I own, it's also written by one of my favorite YouTubers, the Disheveled Goblin, Daniel B. Greene. There's a link to his channel in the description below. So please take this review with a grain of salt, since I might be slightly colored in my opinion of the book. Even though I do try to judge this as if I had no idea who Daniel B. Greene is. But because it is his book, let me just get something very, very important out of the way first. Haha, that spiked way too much on the recording. Oh well. Alright, let's take a look at Greene's first book. So, Breach of Peace is a novella written in 2021 and self-published by YouTuber Daniel Greene. The novella is about 140-ish pages long and is a mixture of science fiction, fantasy, and noir, mystery, thriller, crime. It is also the first book in the Lawful Times series. This book is dark. It's very dark and quite graphic in the way it describes mutilations and murders. It follows three criminal inspectors, Cled, her husband Samuel, and quote-unquote friend Chapman. However, the plot they unravel is something bigger than just some murdering from a rebellion. It's something that happens within the empire itself. So before I read this book, I read a lot of reviews of it, and it seems people are very torn about it. Some swear it is amazing, some say it's boring, that Clit is just an onlooker, or that Greene uses the thesaurus too much. I can see where some of the arguments are coming from, but since this review is a little more of the style of an ordinary book review and not my usual read-along review, let's go about it in a different way than what I would normally do. So let's start up by looking at the characters. The main character is Cled, whose POV is also what we as readers follow. She's an experienced inspector and one of the higher ranking ones. Her personality is a bit of a stoic woman, in my opinion, who's seen a bit of everything, but also is kind and not very emotionless. Multiple times we see her having to vomit or get scared from her situations. She definitely feels like a person, but she also at times, mainly in the beginning, feel like she uncovers questions and then Chapman or Samuel provides the answers. Especially Chapman provides these answers. So let's actually have a look at Chapman. He's an inspector, however from how I read the text, not as high ranking one as Khaled. He's also not very sociable and at times rude, even when he doesn't want to be. He's not directly hated, more loathed or disregarded by the rest of the force because of his lack of social skills. In the first half, it does feel like he has all the answers to the mystery already. While the third main character, Samuel, and is Cled's husband, and he's fine. I didn't have the biggest feeling for him despite the attentions from Greene to show how much Cled cares about him and vice versa. Not saying Greene didn't let me know how they felt. He certainly did, and it also is a quite interesting borderlining realistic take on a relationship among co-workers, especially in such a dangerous field. I just didn't end up caring too much about him, so spoiler alert, when he died I didn't care. All in all, the main characters feel developed and living, for the most part. I don't see how people think that Cled is just a passive onlooker, especially in the second half of the book when they do the raid. When it comes to the prose of the book, I would say it's fine. Greene doesn't use as many reviewers apparently thinks, a lot of fancy words. The only words I found where I got confused was, now let me see if I can say it, soliloquy, I think I said it right, which apparently just means a monologue. Not sure why he didn't just write that, but otherwise I didn't find anything odd about it. Instead of a lot of long, elegant sentences with elaborate metaphors and similes, Greene is just much more on point and precise, which works for a dark crime and novella book. I don't need colorful descriptions in the book, I need hard, cold, bloody descriptions, and Greene delivers. The story itself reminds me of a very dark version of a stereotypical mystery like Sherlock Holmes. The fantasy is kept to a minimum, which serves the book great. It does lean a bit more to science fiction with how the monsters are created, but it does mention demons having existed, which, to be fair, could have been ignored. It doesn't do much to the book. I do think it would have been better having the captain just not believe Clit because her monster is a monster, and not because demons were defeated. maybe it's because in future installments demons actually will play a role. If not, I do believe they should have been removed. When it comes to the system that he and the government, how he has created that, it does remind me a lot of 1984 by George Orwell, especially the ending description of the newspaper writing. So yeah, I definitely see where he took some inspiration from the typical like mystery with a dark twist, and then also stuff like George Orwell. I do like the story. It does set up an interesting mystery plot to learn what is going on, but it also ties itself together in a nice way, so you don't feel like you've been let down in the end. Just some other thoughts. I wish the book would spend more time on world building. Who is this Almighty and the Anointed? Who we only get told that the Anointed are appointed by the Almighty and are above any law. But who is the Almighty? Is it an actual god, as Greene makes it feel like, or is it just some very wise and smart person? I've no doubt Greene will tell us more about it in the sequels, but I still think he should have added a page or more in total with just a bit more world building. Also, where is the world map? In his YouTube videos, Greene has multiple times talked about how much he loves maps. Where's the world map? Or at least the map of the city? You could even just have given us a map of the 7th precinct and nearby precincts where the book takes place. This isn't only because I like maps in books, and because Greene likes maps, but because the novella is so short and doesn't spend a lot of time explaining where things are in relation to each other. A map would then really help with giving a sense of direction and placement. And I think Greene needs that in the next novella he's gonna write, because it was a bit difficult at times learning where things were. I had no idea the warehouse was that far away from the police department. So, but apparently it was. It was in a different precinct. I had no idea until Clid went to the brothel. Well, all in all, the book is a short, dark read. The mystery is good. I liked it. It wasn't the most complicated mystery. Like, it was clear from the beginning Chapman knew way too much, and it was clear that it wasn't the rebels and all that. I mean, but it was good. It was a simple little mystery. The characters are interesting and fun. I would give it an 8 out of 10. Short, dark novella, but can't wait to see where he'll take the story in the next one.